Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Apologize for the technical difficulties, but I think, as you can see, we're scrambling over from west. The great news is we're back live and glad to be back in front of real people and able to interact with you. So we'll have the whole team here to do the presentations today like you were used to before we went to the live streaming when this was the dining room. Just less than 24 hours ago, it was the dining room. So obviously a lot of work went into flipping that, cleaning it. We had carpet company come clean the carpets last night, and so I think the logistics of pulling it all off was great, and we're very appreciative of the team that made that happen. Thank you, Whitney. But some of the details, the technical details, we didn't quite hit right before 3 o'clock, so apologies for that. Thank you for being here. Great to see so many people. I was worried that I was only going to be talking to the same amount of people that were at the live stream, which was much less, so glad you're here. And we will get started with a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, our agenda today, it's kind of a standard agenda. I'm going to give a community update followed by Carson, and then down the list of different leaders, and Jordan will wrap it up, reviewing our finances and other operational things at the end. So let's get started. Happy New Year, by the way. Little cartoon, I realize this is fuzzy. We had a resident gave us this. So the North Pole Senior Living, Santa really thought of everything. This is what it says over here. This guy says, not the shower safety bar. So we're very pleased that the safety bars have been addressed and all installed in the right places, including the bocce ball courts. So I think good to have a little fun. Thank you to Floyd Nesbitt who gave us that cartoon. My favorite, the rumor mill, is back for 2026. All right, we're going to start with first rumor that me, Ebenezer, said we could not put holiday decorations in the woman living rooms that were redecorated. That is not true. I may be Ebenezer, but not in this regard. Holiday decorations are certainly acceptable. We'll just ask that they don't stay around all year, for one, and that they're tasteful. Check with your hall rep or me if you have questions. Certainly intent is not to prevent festive holiday decorations. I know we're coming out of that and we're starting to take down holiday decorations. But in general, the living rooms are meant for the use of the community. As we refresh them, we are going to be intentional about keeping them looking good. So to help control that, if you have something you want to add or delete, check in with me. Don't just do it on your own. That's really all we're asking. Okay, makes sense? And that's hopefully to benefit everybody, existing and new residents. So, and I've also heard the comment that it's our home, and that is very true. But it's everybody's home, and so you've hired me to help manage community spaces like that. You'll never see me come into your apartment and tell you how to decorate your apartment. You will see me come in to the community rooms and have a say in how those get decorated. So that's just kind of how it's going to go. All right? Great. Next topic, we are taking away the Fry dining room. We are taking away the Fry dining room. That is a rumor. That is not true. Actually, for our assisted living residents, we added a venue in this whole transition. So we did not take anything away, we only added. And what we added was a dining venue on the first floor Fry that makes it easier, more convenient for some of our assisted living residents to get to that part of the dining room and eat. All residents, especially including our assisted living friends, are more than welcome to join us in the Ruth dining room. One of the big things we tried to accomplish with refreshing the Ruth was that it's not kind of one for assisted living, one dining room for assisted living, and one for independent living. You should expect to get the same experience, menu, if you come into the Ruth dining room, regardless of where you live. Regardless if you're a guest, assisted living resident, independent living resident, whoever, it doesn't matter. So that is something we tried to be very intentional about accomplishing, and I think we did. You'll see in the coming weeks. We are not taking away the first floor Fry dining room that we added. We'll continue to refine that space. We've learned a lot of lessons as we've gone along, and we knew that would happen. But that room will stay open. We'll also continue to do breakfast in the Dogwood Deli. So those are all some new and I think improved ways of handling our dining venues over here. Okay? And if we have more questions, we'll certainly answer more at the end, and Tim and Jordan will have more to say about the Ruth, but just wanted to address those rumors. A couple of updates. The Henshaw Library, we did do some refreshing. It was more out of necessity. We had a big shelf on the wall in Henshaw that was unsafe. So found that out, took it down, replaced it with a counter that was somewhat controversial. But that was all done because frankly, the shelf on that wall was not safe. And I was worried about it coming down, falling on somebody. So we got rid of it and we replaced it with a counter that we had access to pretty quickly. And that all happened pretty fast, and so there was concern that we went in and did renovations without talking to anybody. That's somewhat true, but that was just an instance where we needed to address that immediately and did. And we had a good opportunity for that counter. So we did that in the Henshaw Library. We also refreshed the Woolman Reading Room, and you're going to hear and see more about that. The amazing thing is a lot of resident volunteers put in about 200 hours or more, probably more, I'm sure, of entering more than 2,000 books in our library over here at Guilford. 6,000, 2-6, a lot of books, more than I've read. So, that we really appreciate Claire's leadership, and then a lot of people put a lot of effort into that reading room, and then also converting to an electronic system called Atrium, where you can check out the books in a different way. You're going to hear a lot more about that, so that's what we call a teaser. You'll hear more at the open house on January 14th. I encourage you to, if you're a lover of books, to come to the open house and hear about all of that. All right? So Cassidy, I think, helped put that video together with the stars in the videos, cooperation. That was good, wasn't it? Not bad. Again, that's a I tried to stretch it out, but then people started looking different than they are in real, and I didn't want to mess with that. So yeah, that it was really well done, Cassidy. Thank you. All right, so again, the 14th, I would encourage you to come to that open house on the 14th. All right, a little more fun, resolving concerns in 26. We're going to play a little game. Not going to keep score, you keep your own score. Multiple choice quiz game where you can check your neighbor to see who's right or not. Here's some questions. We'll start with situation 1. I submitted a work order last week, but it hasn't been completed to my satisfaction. I called Bernadette, but I'm still unhappy. You have 4 choices. You should A, make note of the issue and wait for the Q&A section of Townhall. B, contact Mark Ford. C, tell my resident representative. And D, grab the first maintenance tech I see and ask them to resolve this issue. What's the collective agreement on the answer is?
C.
B, contact Mark Ford. That's correct. If you thought the answer was D, please see me after the meeting. Next question. I have a concern related to dinner. You're starting to see a theme here. I told the supervisor I'm still unhappy. Contact Tim or Christina. Tell my resident representative. Email the chairs of the dining committee. Or wait to share my concern during the Q&A section of Town Hall, where we publicly embarrass people. Any A is the correct answer. You guys are quick learners. I've always said that. Yes, we do want you to go to the person that can most immediately help you in general. That's the theme. So in this case, you started with the supervisor manager. Great, thank you. That didn't resolve it. Talk to Tim or Christina. Next one is, I've got a concern about life enrichment. Life enrichment. I should. There's your choices. Talk to the chair of activities, tell my resident representative, contact Whitney or Mary, or stand at the living room doors discouraging folks from attending the program that I don't like. That has happened, believe it or not. I didn't see it happen, but it apparently did. What do you think?
C.
Still with me? C is correct. Very good. All right, I think this is the last one. No, it's not. I've been seeing bugs in my apartment. I submitted a work order, but I'm still not happy. I should A, buy a tent and sleep in the courtyard. B, tell my resident representative. C, crush the bug and leave it on Matt or Steve's desk. I would highly encourage that be Matt. Or contact Daryl Shores. Again, C has happened. I can attest to that. C has happened. And it is not the correct answer. D, contact Daryl. Daryl oversees the pest control company that helps us get rid of unwanted pests. So we would encourage you to contact Daryl. And then I've shared a concern with the appropriate manager or director. I'm still unsatisfied. I should contact the president of the Residents Association, tell my resident representative, contact my AED, which is Matt or I, complain to my table mates at dinner. I've never seen that happen, but I've heard about it on television. Contact my associate executive director, that is Matt Beam or myself. So you've talked to the director of the department, didn't get resolved, come talk to Matt or I so we can help you. That's the request. And then lastly, I've shared a concern with me. We let you down. Then what do? You either A, contact the president of the resident association, tell my resident representative, contact Jordan, or find a bug to leave on Matt or Steve's desk to share my frustrations. So you're, while tempting, D is not the right answer. Yeah, we do have a effective, I think, chain of command. So again, if there's something that I let you down on, Jordan will help you, and that's not offensive to me. So please do that. All right. Hopefully that was a little bit of fun to drive home some real ways to go through conflict resolution. With that, yes, we go to our philanthropy update with Carson. Give Carson a hand.
You might want to see and wait till after I talk. It might not be warranted. I'm actually going to start by welcoming up Taylor, who was our resident volunteer for last year's Resident Financial Assistance Campaign. He's just going to give you a quick summary of how last year went.
Thank you, Carson. So if you recall, we had a goal of $180,000. We have raised a little more than $183,000 at this point. There may be a couple more checks coming in. That is the biggest we've ever done. Well, no, not really. Last year, we had an estate gift of $15,000, which made it seem like a bigger deal. We had no estate gifts this year, but we still raised a hunk of money. Let me check my notes. And I thought it was interesting that over 50,000 came from non-residents. So that, I think, is reflective of how we're pursued by the community. Thank you all.
Thank you, Taylor. I know it may not seem like it. For those of you who have taken this role, there's a bit of work that goes into it throughout the year, and some thank yous and follow-ups, and we certainly appreciate your effort and that of the Nesbitt. So yeah, I'll just say this 50,000, the proceeds of the 5K help go towards resident financial assistance. But other than that, I mean, we have one foundation who gives $4,000. They gave $4,000 last year. The rest is just family members and community members who want to support residents here who are in need. So thank you all for contributing and helping us meet our goal and helping meet the need here. All right, this, now that we're in January and some things have changed with tax laws, I do want to just share a little IRA PSA. So in 2026, the limits for qualified charitable distributions, the amount that you can make without paying taxes from your IRA, is $111,000 per individual. So that can be spread across multiple IRAs, but that's how much an individual can give to charity from their IRA without paying income tax. And just to be clear, if you're not familiar with QCDs, this is a way that you can give to charity without having to take income or take a distribution to yourself and pay income taxes from your IRA. You have a required minimum distribution. I don't know, well, I mean, lucky you if you are under 73, but you do have a required minimum distribution for those of you who are 73 and older, and you have to make sure that you take that distribution each year, and that continues to go up if you're familiar with how IRAs work. I just want to share that there is a specific rule that is not as well known when it comes to required minimum distributions, RMDs, and then qualified charitable distributions, QCDs. If you were to take your required minimum distribution, let's say at the beginning of the year, now in January, and then come December, you want to make a gift from your IRA, make a QCD, to Friends Homes to support the Resident Financial Assistance Campaign. If you had already taken a distribution and paid the income tax, the QCD could not count towards your RMD, which would already be taken. So there's something called the first dollars out rule, and your advisors should know this. I have spoken to some who are not as familiar with this rule. You just want to make sure that if you want your charitable gift from your IRA, your QCD, to cover your RMD for the year, you have to make that charitable gift, that QCD, before you take your RMD as income. Okay. Are we all tracking? I hope that makes sense. Some of you already knew that, but I just want to make that clear because there was some confusion last year. Okay, and then just as a reminder, 74 and above, you have a deadline of the 31st of the year to take your RMDs or make your qualified charitable distributions. Otherwise, you pay 25% taxes or fees for the remaining amount. So some of you are given checkbooks. Normally you would have to go through your IRA administrator, call them, say I'd like to make a QCD, or you go online and put in the charity's information. But some of you are now getting checkbooks, and this is becoming more and more common, so it may happen to you in the future. Please know that because you're not initiating a QCD through your IRA administrator anymore, if you have your own checkbook for your IRA, it's not, the gift date is not the date that you put on the check. It is the date that the charity is able to deposit those funds. So please do not wait until December 31st to give your gift, because we need to be able to deposit those funds to initiate that transfer for you to be able to have it qualify for that year. So just something to think about for 2026.
So,
Oh.
so what is your deposit time?
So,
How many days do you need?
yeah, we would prefer a week if possible. I know the end of the year, sometimes people want to just help us get over that goal. We tend to do a deposit the last day of the year, assuming it's not a weekend. So last business day of the year, Angela Conwell in the business office is working very hard the last couple of days to make sure that we're able to deposit everything that we can. If you were to initiate a transfer, not if you have your own checkbook, but if you were to initiate a transfer from your IRA administrator before the end of the year, and they distribute those funds, but we don't get the check until, let's say, a week or two later, we will still deposit it and we'll still count. But early December to initiate it, because we've had checks get lost in the mail. I would recommend early December to really, at the latest, to get that payment. Does that? And the question was, what's the latest that you can that we can make deposits? So, does that answer your question? Okay.
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, it's pretty much, you need to deposit it before the 31st, but no one checks before the 31st. So, then you have 7 days.
Yeah, we'll send out reminders as well towards the end of the year. Okay, just some quick benefits. So QCDs can lower your taxable income as well as lower the amount of Social Security that's subject to tax. Can count towards your RMD and reduce future RMDs because you're lowering the amount, and even though the percentage is going up. And then it can also help lower your Medicare premiums and prevent phase-outs. So definitely some benefits to keep in mind. Simple steps, like I mentioned, contact your IRA administrator, request to initiate a QCD, and please let me know that a QCD is on its way, because some IRA administrators do not include donor information or what the gift should be directed towards. And so we spent a good bit of time reaching out to get that information, and it'll just, and then we know that the check didn't get lost in the mail, or if it did, we know to let you know. So here's the legal information, and you will receive some more information about this in the volunteer letters for the Resident Financial Assistance Campaign in 2026. So thank you for listening, and if you have questions, I'll be here after.
Thank you, Carson. I'm Tim Zwick. I'm the Director of Dining Services. news and notes. So we're gonna start off here. We have a reservation system that we've tested over in Cobles for the dining room just at Cobles prior to the holidays for about 3 weeks. It worked out really well. So that reservation will roll out on Icon starting next Monday, the 12th. So I want to be perfectly clear. You don't need a reservation if you're coming to Cobles, but it's recommended. You'll get in quicker and you know your table will be there and available for you. So you can go on Icon and make a reservation. It is highly recommended for any parties 6 or larger, so that we can have a table available for you and make sure we have a server assigned to that table. So that will roll out on the 12th. We're gonna have another memo coming out about a few of the details on that, probably tomorrow. So we'll have that out for you on Icon also. But I just want you to be knowledgeable of the fact that over in Cobles, it's recommended to make reservations moving forward. I think it'll smooth out the whole process over there, and it'll get service a little quicker than waiting at the door. We also know that we've had some concerns with takeout. Sometimes the takeout bags, there's missing items or it's an incorrect item. We've been working on it, but we want to get a little input from everybody here. So also starting on Monday the 12th, we're going to be attaching a comment card. Looks very similar to the Happy or Not card, but it will say for takeout on top. We'll attach that to your bag when you come to pick up your takeout. We'd appreciate if you'd fill it out and drop it in the comment card box the next day so that we can track it and find out what our main things are with issues with takeout. So we really appreciate that. We know we have a few items or issues to work on still, and we just want to gather the information so we know we're working on the right things. Upcoming events. So Travel the World is coming back next year. It was not part of what I walked into last year, but I know it's something that many of you that have been here for a few years know about. Travel the World, where we have events every month. You'll get a passport. You can get a stamp if you come to those events. And at the end of the year, the people that have been to all the events will be put into a raffle for some sort of prize in December. So that's starting in January. We have the Robert Burns birthday celebration here in the new Ruth dining room on the 23rd. So there is an event, but a program planned for here in the living room prior to dinner, but you'll need a reservation for dinner that night. So please contact Michaela, as she will be taking the reservations for the Robert Burns event, and that will be the first of those events for the passport. In February, we will be doing Chinese New Year also over here at the Ruth Dining Room. We've got this new beautiful space over here. We want to utilize it a little bit more and bring more of the events over here to the Guilford campus, so we're really excited about that. And then St. Patrick's Day will be in the hub. So those are the first 3 on that schedule. So we're looking forward to seeing you all at all these events. Get your passport. If you need any information about the passport itself, get with Whitney, get with Mary, and they will be able to help you out with that. Other events coming up, we have the Super Bowl coming up in February also, the first Sunday in February. So we'll have some special food items over in the hub and have it on the big screen over there, and it'll just be a little fun. We'll have the servers wearing their favorite jerseys and things of that nature. Just a nice fun event. Valentine's Day tea will be in the Guilford living room over here on the 13th. Valentine's Day will be celebrated in both dining rooms, the Ruth and Cobles. We'll put out a sign-up sheet for those prior to that event going on. It'll be the same routine. You can get with Michaela, and she'll take care of your reservations there. We also have in February a Black History culinary celebration going on. We got a great guest speaker coming in who is a culinary historian. We've talked to him several times. Very nice gentleman. He's got a few books out. His name is Michael Twitty. So if you'd like to look him up online, but he's going to be here doing a speaking event for us. And then we're using some of his recipes to create the meal that night. So that'll be in the hub also. The chef's table in the hub at 5 o'clock that day. And there'll be a flyer on the icon coming out about that also. So the Ruth reopening. Who was in for lunch today? Good, yeah, we had a nice crowd. It was about our usual crowd for lunch. Did you enjoy what you saw at lunchtime? You like the way it looks? Yeah, I think everybody really worked hard to get that together. I also want to thank everybody for their patience and cooperation while we were here in the living room. I think our staff did a really good job of trying to keep things together, get your meals taken care of, get you hot meals, and once again making sure that everything was taken care of properly. I was real impressed with our staff over the 3.5, 4 months, just keeping things going. So thank you. Thank you, staff. And Sinal and Kara, the servers, they did a fantastic job. So I just want to give a shout out to them. So yeah, we did open for lunch today. We'll be open for dinner again tonight. Same thing tomorrow. We'll have the same usual, the new menu. On Friday dinner, we have a special event with a special menu, just for the Ruth Dining Room that day. So please get with Michaela to get signed up for that. We'll need to sign up for that because we want to make sure that we have enough seats available for that event on Friday. So that's Friday dinner. So get with Michaela on that. But I think you'll enjoy the menu that Chef put together for that. There's gonna be a carving station. There's gonna be lots of fun things to have on that day. As Steve spoke about earlier, the Fry Dining Room has not gone away. We've just added another dining room. So the Fry Dining Room downstairs is not stopping. It's going to continue to go the way it has been going for the last 3.5 or 4 months. But everybody is welcome to come up to the Ruth Dining Room. So we encourage, and I saw at least 3 or 4 people from assisted living up here for lunch today. So yeah, we encourage that. You can come up anytime, but if you want to stay closer to your apartment, you want to stay downstairs, that's fine too. That's the atmosphere we're trying to create, is having more choices, not less choices. So we're really happy to continue doing that. Now we got Wendy.
Question.
Yes.
Back to the takeout.
Yeah.
You know, I know you're doing the comment card, which is good and it's reactive. But
Yeah, if we can hold the questions to the end, and we'll get you the mic so everyone can hear it. Okay? Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Whitney Ariza, Director of Campus Life, and I'm excited to share some updates with you today. We're just excited to have the living room back too. I know Tim's glad to have his dining room back. We're ready to have some programs in here, so thank you for your patience and going to the solarium. We had a packed house for our variety show that we did on New Year's Eve. A lot of you were there, and we had a lot of fun, but next year, it's going to be an annual event. Next year, it'll be in here. We'll have more space. The first thing I want to share with you is our Campus Life restructure. Over the past several months, we've made some changes with how our department is structured. Many of you know Mill, who has historically been in just the Fry assisted living area, and then Pam Hinckley, who's been over at West in Magnolia. Their jobs are shifting, and they're going to be in all healthcare venues now. So they're now life enrichment specialists, and as you know, Mill has a focus on music and movement, so she's going to be doing programs related to that throughout all the healthcare venues. We have another young lady who's come on board. Her name's Liz Stringer. She was in Juniper before, and she'll now be in all of the healthcare areas. We also have added a senior life enrichment coordinator. Her name is Destiny Chadman. She started the week of Thanksgiving. You've probably seen her around. We're very excited to have her come on board. She's going to work very closely with Mary Wallace and Cassidy Holt. We have an excellent variety and quality of programming in independent living. And our hope is that that will extend into our healthcare venues as residents transition from IL into other areas. We want to keep that same level of quality, variety, and we want to up the expectation a little bit in there. So we're really excited to have Destiny on board to help us coordinate that. Here you can see the new organizational chart. And I'll just point out, here's Pam and Mill and Elizabeth Stringer, and then Destiny would be over them. She's got a direct line up to Jim Newman, who's our healthcare administrator, and then she falls right under the Campus Life department. A few exciting things that are happening. We are now doing outings in our healthcare venues. So last month we went to Cracker Barrel and Tanglewood. We had a really packed trip for that. We had a lot of fun. This month we'll be going out to eat at Mimi's Cafe. We're going to try to do something every month for our healthcare residents who are interested in getting out and about. So we're excited about this change. If you have any questions related to that, come see me afterwards. I'd love to talk with you about it. All right, I'm gonna just briefly go over this. We've had a few things with performer and speaker etiquette. If you can remember to turn off your cell phone or put it on silent before programs. Sometimes our speakers or performers can get distracted when the cell phones are going off. And if you can't hear, raise your hand. A staff member or the performer will see you, and we'll try to work hard to remedy that quickly. And also talking, even if you're whispering, your neighbors, and sometimes us, depends on how loud your whisper is, can hear you. So we'll just try to keep that to a minimum, please. I'm not going to read everything, but we've got a lot going on this month. We're going to the Wolford House in Virginia for a show. We're going to try spare time bowling this month. It should be a lot of fun. We're taking 2 trips over to the Wellspring Theater. The UNC Clefhangers are going to be there to perform. This is a free trip. We did this last year. They're awesome. They're from Carolina, and it's the a cappella group that comes and sings. It's a lot of fun. There's also a Greensboro to Broadway series going on over at Wellspring, and Bobby Conte will be there. The tickets are only $17.50, so you'll get very close to Broadway for a very reasonable price. You can sign up for those on Icon. Also here, we talked about the Guilford Reading Room, grand opening, library. Joe DiPiazza will be performing at West. He's a very good pianist. Georgia Farmer, who is the daughter of one of our residents, she's going to be performing with a pianist. This is going to be at 1:30 here in the Guilford Living Room on the 16th. Chilla Roper, many of you may know her. She's one of our group fitness instructors. She comes and teaches. She is originally from Hungary, and her daughter recently got married in Slovenia. And her daughter, it looks like a supermodel. But also the scenery in these photos is amazing. She got married on a mountain range, and she's going to share all about the wedding. So if you know Chilla, or even if you don't, we'd love to have you at this presentation. It should be really fun. We talked about the Robert Burns Toast. That'll be 3:30 in the Guilford Living Room on the 23rd, right before the special dinner. We'll have Scottish dancers. We'll have a bagpipe playing. It'll be fun. We've got a folk tech jazz quartet. And then this one is going to be a very big deal. The Chatham Rabbits, who came to West last month, maybe the month before, will be here in the Guilford Living Room, January 29th. They're an amazing couple who will be here. They do bluegrass and folk music, but they're a lot of fun and a lot of fun to listen to. So I hope you'll join us for that. The Makers and Bakers Sale, February 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's in the West Living Room. If you want to be a vendor, if you have something that you've made or baked and you want to come and sell, we'd love to have you. See Mary Wallace by February 6th. You can also reach out to Cassidy as well. And then we have a new lifelong learning program that's going to be starting. We'll have information in your cubby and on Icon. But some of the classes include cultural dance, watercolor classes. We've got a science professor who's going to do some lecture, but also do some labs, which will be really fun. We have a history professor coming. And some of these programs will also coordinate with the Travel the World program that Dining is doing. So we're really excited about starting this up in February. Okay, I'm going to pass it on to Mark.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mark Ford, the Director of Maintenance. And what I have to talk about is not nearly as exciting as the past 2 presenters, but I will carry on with some maintenance stuff. Here at Guilford, we talked about the roof. We're opening up. I'm real happy to do that. With any good construction project, there's always a few lingering items that needs to get finished up, and there's a handful that we'll need to do, but we're not going to shut anything down. We're not going to put everybody back in the living room. But you'll notice tomorrow morning we'll be finishing up the transom at the front doors where we're kind of cooking in that lobby area. I still need to put operators on the men's bathroom door. The women's is working fine, or ladies first, so we installed that one first. And just a few other little tweaks here and there. So please bear patience with me. I know I want to say we're done, and we're done enough to eat and enjoy, but we're still tweaking a few things as we go. The Hobbs roof replacement, it's still coming along fine. We're working with the contractors, and we're gonna publish some dates and times and communicate that to you. I've had a few folks ask about, is that project still happening? Yes, we still intend on doing that in the spring and summer, so it'll be weeks and months as opposed to days and weeks. And then we're gonna go and survey some of the sidewalks. There's a number of sidewalks that are lifted and they're, you know, a little bumpier than a sidewalk should be, especially around the Dogwood Deli area. We're gonna have some machines out there, we're gonna grind those down and take those lips down, make it easier for folks. And over at West, we had some HVAC stuff. I'm not gonna get into all that, because be fortunate that you don't have to deal with a dual temp system here at Guilford. And the parking lot lights, some folks may or may not have noticed that the lights are getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And we're gonna do some maintenance work on those and get those fixed. Facilities updates. So a number of folks come to the facility update meetings. We've with the holidays and schedules transitioning, we've kind of missed a lot. And y'all are eating dinner in here when we normally have the meetings. So we've revamped our schedule. The biggest takeaways are, instead of being Tuesdays around dinner time, we're changing them to the third Monday of every month at 11 o'clock. And we'll alternate campuses like we always do. And we'll talk about really nerdy maintenance stuff, like what you see at the bottom of the screen, which is a snapshot of a report that I run regularly of completion time for work orders. And I'm really proud of these numbers. For those who may not see the trend and haven't come to those meetings, you may not appreciate as much, but we've completed this past month 87.3% of all work orders we received in the first 48 hours. When I first got here, that number was much, much lower, and everything was shifted more towards the right. And our I call it the bad category. Here in the right, the work orders that take more than 11 days to fix, we only have 1.9% that fall in that category. So out of 368 work orders we did in Guilford, there's only 7 of those folks that have had to wait 2 business weeks to get something fixed. I'm really proud of the team. The maintenance team that you all have here is incredible in terms of technicians, and they deserve all the gratitude. It makes it really easy to be the figurehead and come up here and speak for the work that they do for you. So thank you for letting us give us that opportunity to make that happen. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Daryl.
Hey everybody, I'm Daryl Shores. I'm the EBS and Grounds Director. So the first thing I wanted to mention, and I've been mentioning this for the last few months now, so it's finally the month of this to start. We will start window washing, not here at Guilford next week, but the week after, so the week of the 19th. Most of the screens have been removed from those that have screens accessible from the inside. They have been duct taped or taped together, and then they'll be put back in as the comp plans are being completed. Those screens will also be cleaned before they are reinstalled, so just mind that. So if your comp clean is later in the month, your screen will be reinstalled then. If it's right now before the window washers are here, it will be towards the end of the month before they reinstall, if that makes sense. On that note, I wanted to share the map. This is on icon, so if you don't know, but down at the bottom, it kind of gives you a snapshot of when to expect your windows to be cleaned. So day 1 will be Ridgecrest and Arcadia, and that's going to be highlighted in orange. That will also mark the drone cleaning to be done. So if anybody wants to see a show, that'll mark 7, 6, and 5 of Woman, and then the 4th story of Hobbs this year. That will be included being done with a drone. So I believe this year, just for everybody to know in this room, there may be a few students witnessing that. So drone pilots has become a pretty popular thing to go to school for, ironically enough. And they have to have witness hours, so they have to be observing of when the drone is being used. So we might have some students here watching that being done by the drone pilot. Day 2 will cover Hobbs 1 through 4, really that's 1 through 3, and then Woman 1 through 4. Day 3 will be Fox and Whittier, day 4 will be Henshaw and Fry, and day 5 will be Enos touch-ups. I do want to mention, like, if your room or you feel like your window was missed, please do not hesitate or wait till later to let us know. Let us know as soon as possible, especially if you know that it was supposed to be your day of service. If that was missed, let us know soon enough so we can get back and touch those up. You're not bothering us by waiting, but if you wait, we may not be able to get that window done in time. So the sooner you let us know, the better. And if you can't get a hold of me, reach out to Barbara McCall. She's the other EVS manager here at Gilbert, or Scott Rodenheber. He is the EVS manager at West. But all of us will kind of be taking those notes and organizing that. Next slide I wanted to present. So I've had a few questions from some of the residents as to why we closed the bridge versus just throwing ice melt or salt on it. The issue is because the bridge is constructed of wood. So because of that, the moisture freezes differently on that wood surface than it would for asphalt or concrete. So we can't really use those conventional methods of putting ice melt or salt on it because it will wear and tear, and over time really erode that wood quicker than we want to. So it's an easier and it's a better thing to do as far as just closing that bridge, because we can't put any kind of heavy machinery on there or plows. So once those temperatures raise up to above 32 degrees, or we feel like it's safe, that's when the grounds team will go out there with backpack blowers or plastic line shovels, scrape anything that's on there, whether it be snow or ice, and then security team and I will decide to open those gates back up. On that side too, there is an easy way to get around campus, and that's the old way before we had the bridge, which is using New Garden to West Friendly and going that direction around. The DOT does a good job of keeping those roads clear. So yeah, this is the only time that will be closed is usually when we have any kind of potential ice buildup or snow that could potentially be happening. And we'll usually give those announcements pretty quickly. But anyway, just wanted to touch base of why we do that. And for those that haven't seen this actual wood of the bridge, this is just a picture of it. And on that note, I'm going to turn over to Jordan.
Thanks, Daryl. Hi, everyone. I'm Jordan Scardino, Executive Director. It's great to be here. How many people had a good time over the holidays at friends' homes? Yes, a lot of hands went up in about 2 claps. I think from the 2 staff up here. So you had a good time? All right, good. I'm glad. The staff worked really, really hard. Many long hours to make sure that you had a magical holiday season. So I'm very thankful to them for that. Now, it's been a long presentation, and you might be sleepy. And if so, my portion might put you over the edge. But I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I realize I'm the only thing between here and your dinner. So I'll try to go fast. Okay, so you know that when I get up here, it's time to talk financials. And we like to be very transparent with what's going on with the money at friends' homes. And we also know, after many months of covering this, that census drives a lot of our success. And I'm happy to say that as of December, we celebrated a pretty big milestone. In December, we hit 100% reserved. That means that 100% of our apartments in independent living were either occupied or reserved. It's a big deal. It's also the sign of a happy, healthy community, right? If we were 70% occupied, you might be saying, hey, Jordan, what in the world is going on? Why don't you have more people living here? But instead, we have a very highly occupied community. And that is true for assisted living. We're ahead of budget on census and assisted living, and the same is true in skilled nursing. So we made a little bit of a comeback in skilled nursing, and we're very pleased with that. Now at West, somebody said, well, what does that mean for the market? And what does that mean for people who want to move in? As you know, census will always go up and down. It kind of comes in waves. People, for all the reasons that you know and understand, there will be vacancy. And there's a long list of residents of the future, people who have said, I want to move in the future. And there's also a group of folks that are on what we call a ready list. We keep that list very small. It's about 20 people or less generally. These are folks who have already committed to the community financially with a 10% deposit. They've already been medically and financially qualified. And if something opens, they're next on the list to move in. So I just want you to know this is a good sign. And hopefully you're proud of that. And then there's our financials. I'm going to draw your attention to our total operating income. And you can see we're 40 grand ahead of our budget when it comes to the net operating income, which is a good thing. In the beginning of the year especially, you always want to build up a positive variance, because as the year goes on, things pop up. You have months where there's a third payroll. You know, there's a utility, something happens, you know, there's just things pop up. There's a wage adjustment that you had to make because the market has changed. You name it, there's all kinds of things that might happen throughout the year, so it's good to have a positive variance. Truth be told, it would be better if there was more there for our community, but we're still ahead and that's okay. So we're in a good position. Our cash and investments are strong. We have about 84, just under 84 million in cash and investments, and we also have 93 million in debt. That's why it's important to have so much in cash and investments. We expected to collect about 1.1 million in entry fees. We actually collected slightly more than that. That'll go up and down throughout the year. We plan by the end of the year to collect about 6.9 million. That is basically, it's part of our cash on hand, today's cash on hand. Fixed assets. Fixed assets are, this is capital projects, capital investments in the community. That could be equipment, that could be vehicles, that could be some form of infrastructure. It's a tangible asset that we're purchasing and or installing. We budgeted $843,000 to have been spent by the end of November. We actually spent a little bit more. That's going to go up and down throughout the year. We might have a month where we have a budget of 840, we actually spent 740. You know, by the end of the year, our budget, we will have spent just over 5 million in capital expenditures. That's just keeping the place going, you know, replacing equipment and fixing things and keeping us in good operating position. We always set aside 5% of our revenue. That's what this is. And keep in mind, this is year to date, this is for November. Our fiscal year begins October 1, okay? So this is really our financial performance for the first 2 months of our fiscal year. I told you I might make you sleepy. But there's some people in here that get really excited with the numbers. And I think it's important for you to understand where we are financially as a community. Just like in your own household, you'd want to be on top of things. Well, this is your household now, and it's good for you to be on the same page with us. Our margins are a little wonky, but they're still strong. Debt service coverage ratio, it's our ability to pay our debt. We did budget for 2.26. We're actually at 1.39. We could pay our debt more than once, basically, which is a good thing. This number will change throughout the year as well. We anticipate that it'll increase. And our days cash on hand, we budgeted 750 days on cash on hand. If we stopped collecting rent revenues, we could continue to pay our bills. It's payroll, utilities, food, all that sort of thing for 709 days. Very strong number. I would encourage you to look at our actuals compared to the benchmark for a BBB rated community such as ours. You can see our numbers are very strong. In October, we were at negative 9.4. We've come up to negative 2.2, and we expect that to continue to rise throughout the month. Now, I realize you cannot read this most likely. Can anybody read this? Oh, Mr. Martin in the back. You can see it. Okay, good. Good. Okay, you can see it. Good, good. I believe we post this. Don't we post this presentation? So if you're interested and you want to see the numbers and you can't see them now, just know that you can find it on Icon. You've probably never seen this document. I've never put this up in our town hall in the 2 years that I've been here, but I think it's kind of fun. It's the stats. It's the stats about our community. Does anybody know how many acres Friends Homes is? There's a pop quiz. How many acres is Friends Homes? 12? No. 73 acres. Our community is 73 acres. Okay, anybody know how much it costs to staff our community in a year? What do we budget for labor? It's a big number. Does somebody say 10 million? No, almost twice that. 16, almost $17 million just in labor costs to run this community. Incredible, right? 717 residents live at Friends Homes. 717. And I believe it's 420, yeah, 421 employees work here. Let's see here, what else? 638 units, apartments are here. I want to draw your attention to these percentages here. Nursing makes up 42% of our workforce, the nursing department. Dining, 31%. Housekeeping, 14%. And administration, just 2%. Just 2%. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes we hear the criticism, well, there's managers everywhere. We see managers all over the place. I assure you, there's only, I heard somebody say, yeah, well, we do. That's a good thing. If you didn't see managers around, that would be a problem. So I'm glad that you see active and engaged managers, but it's only 2% of the workforce. Okay, just a couple more things. I want you to know that we believe strongly in investing in our employees and seeing them grow, seeing them learn, and experience new things. And so does Kintura. Kintura is the company that the Friends Homes Board of Trustees has hired to manage our community. And Kintura has a foundation, and their foundation is paying for a training program that benefits all of the Kintura employees. That foundation has agreed to also pay for the training for all of Friends Homes employees. And that's very special because sometimes people will say, well, what's the benefit of this relationship with Kintura? Has anybody asked that? Maybe you've asked yourself, why are we in this arrangement? Do we really need them? Well, there is some benefits. There's lots of benefits, and we could be here for a while with me explaining them. One of them is the benefit of training resources, opportunities to experience new things and to learn from others, and to spend time with others and to grow as a team. So the Bright Spire Foundation under the Kintura umbrella is allowing us to participate in a red carpet training. It's called We Care, and it's focused on customer service principles. Every single one of our employees will go through the We Care training. And we will focus on things like how to communicate appropriately with residents, how to recover when there's a service failure, what does good customer service look like, how to communicate appropriately with those around us. And there's many other subjects, but it's basically about providing good customer service, especially to our residents, to their families, and to each other. So I think it's important for you residents, the residents, to know that this is something that we're working on. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's going to take us probably more than a year to get through, to train every single employee. Remember, there's 420 of us, and there's only a small handful of trainers. But we hope that through time you'll start to see some of the results of the training. I just want you to be aware that we're going through it. The other thing I think it's always fun to point out is we had a really good Christmas party, a really good holiday party in December with our staff. We celebrated together as a management team, as a group of employees as well. We have pictures of our folks dancing in the hub. We had a DJ. There was really good food. We did raffles and prizes, and our employees were allowed to bring a guest, which is really nice. Folks dressed their best. This was a real event. It was a real treat, and we had a great time. And look at these smiles. These are a lot of the folks that helped make that event a success, but there was a lot more as well. Everybody was involved, and we even we got that caterer to allow our dining staff to participate, so that they didn't have to work the evening. That wouldn't be right? So we allowed them to come and just have a good time. So I think it's good that you know that, and I think it's also appropriate to thank you. Thank you for giving us the night off to be able to participate, and this is budgeted, and your monthly service fees finance the budget. So thank you for helping to make this possible through your monthly service fees. Someone's got some complex topics and ideas. That's kind of what this meeting is about, right? Yeah. Does anybody recognize this fellow? Who is this fella? Charlie Ruth. We know and we love Charlie. Charlie has been very generous to our community over the years, not only financially, but through projects and through helping residents. I was speaking with Jack, this is his nephew, yesterday, and we were looking over at the walkway, and he said, you know, I remember helping to build that, you know, and you know, Charlie, he also built the Dogwood Deli Tech. But I know that there's a lot of other things that Charlie was involved in this community. We shared a special moment yesterday. We gave Charlie a private tour of the Ruth dining room. We invited Jack to join us, and the management team joined as well. And we just had Charlie come into the dining room, drive through. We pointed out a number of the things that we had worked on over the last few months. And I want you to know that before we started the project in the Ruth dining room, we went to Charlie and we asked for his blessing. We thought that that was appropriate to do. And we told him that we were going to be painting the brick, which is a big deal. And he said, you know, I think we probably ought to do that. So just want you to know that he's been involved in this process as well. So we're going to do some question and answer. And we're very thankful to Charlie. We're going to do some question and answer right now. And then the doors are going to open. And I know that there's some folks that are going to make a beeline for that dining room because it's almost dinner time. And here's what I'm going to ask for. Actually, I need everybody to put their right hand up. I solemnly swear. Listen, there's going to be a lot of people that head right to that dining room. And if we're not careful, they're going to crush those servers. Right? So we're going to ask for your patience. We have a hostess. We have staff that are going to help to take your name and your party number. And we're going to ask you to wait. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to stick their head into that dining room and say, well, I see all these empty tables. Why can't I just sit? And it's because we are pacing. We're pacing you. We're taking our time to seat people in an order where one server gets a table, and then another server gets a table, and then another server gets a table, and then we repeat. And that gives them the time that they need to take your drink orders, get you your drinks, and then come back and take your meal order. That's how it's supposed to work. That's theoretical. I understand that. So I'm going to ask for your patience as you allow us to work through that system and just to understand that the hostess will seat you. We have spread out the seating down this hallway as well because we're trying not to have a big cluster of people blocking the entrance. We have also created seating inside the dining room, and the staff will guide you, if it's appropriate, to sit on the inside of the dining room in that waiting area. It's not big enough to hold everybody. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, we're going to ask for your patience and grace. And I'm going to thank you for it in advance. The other thing I want you to know is this space is new to you, right? Now that we've renovated, it's also new to the staff. They have not had any time to practice. We flipped this room last night and this morning, and so it's just as new for them. So knowing where things are might be a challenge. The computers are in different locations. The supplies are in different locations. In some cases, there's altogether different supplies. And so there's a reason why we call this a soft opening. Okay? It's a soft opening because typically in a soft opening, you kind of learn and you figure things out and you iron out the wrinkles. We're going to ask you to help us with that. And just know that hopefully by Friday, we've got things pretty well figured out for the grand opening. Okay? Sound good? You're going to help us? Okay. I appreciate it. Okay. Now, I have to believe there's some questions. Who's got some questions? Any questions?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead. Fire away.
I've got 5 of them here.
5.
There you go. Tim, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the comment cards are great. I like the idea. But what are you doing to be proactive while you're waiting for comment cards to come in on takeout? I mean, are you putting people there to second verify meals before they go out?
Yeah, yes, we've been doing that, but we know that we're still missing the mark in a few areas. So we want to gather as much information before we totally turn the system upside down and try to alleviate some of the hiccups we've been having. So we do have people that are checking, but once again, we know we're still missing the mark on a few things. That's what we're just trying to gather some more information.
Great. the new library looks great. I peeked in when I was coming up here with my parents. That computer system, are you guys gonna have someone there manning it while?
We have an open house on the 14th where we'll explain all that.
Okay, because it's a computer system, and I hate, computer systems are a bugger.
So there's a group that's been working on that computer system for a long time.
Okay.
They've been working through a lot of the anticipating needs of the residents, and that's what we do at, from a management team or from a group of residents. We really try to anticipate needs and put plans in place to minimize the disruption. And we know very well that computers in this community can be enjoyed by some and feared by others, and so I think we're Claire. What do you think? Are we prepared as prepared as can be, right? Yeah, and we'll get through it. It will not be perfect, folks. There will be challenges, but we'll get through it together.
I can tell you there's nobody better than Claire to have prepared us for this, so I think we'll be good. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a couple more here.
You only get 3 more, though.
When I was looking at the maintenance gentleman, when he was talking about their percentages being done, what's their right the first time numbers? Do you have that as well? How many require a follow-up because of something?
I don't know the number offhand. We can, if your mom has a question about that, we can certainly get that data.
Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
The gentleman who was talking about the bridge, do you guys do anything for algae growth and stuff like that? Because it does, wood does get slippery. I've ran across it during the 5K and everything. Do you guys do measures for that as well? No?
We do not measure algae growth at Friends Homes. We do, so I think this applies to everything at the community. We really do try to keep an eye on things. We have committees that, like the grounds committee, we would take feedback from if it came through them. Residents, if you observe anything, we welcome them to let us know. We patrol all of our areas. If we see an algae growth that needs to be addressed, we would, we would address it if we felt like it was appropriate to do so. So if you ever see anything when you come and visit that really requires attention, we'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Final one. The Kentura training, I hope I said that right. Is it just a one and done, or is it refresher yearly?
It is involved. We will be doing this with all of our new hires forever. We will be getting every employee trained initially, and then what we will do is refreshers. So we're not going to put them to the same training over and over again, but there will be updates and refreshes. I'd be willing to bet that other training sessions and things like that will continue. We also have a program called Relias, which is a web-based training program, and that's continuous as well. So there's required trainings, state required, certification required, and then just company required. So there is continuous training for all of our employees. Great questions. What else? Yes.
I found when the drone was cleaning the windows, that's really fascinating. I think it said 5th and 6th floors. Last time I think it included the 4th floor. How set is that? Do you know?
If you want to pay a little bit more, we'll deliver the drone to your apartment. We'll do your car.
It's like something else.
You can use your service credits if you're on that contract.
Could I pay to
drive it? You could fly in it. It's a big drone.
I just want to compliment you on using drones.
It's a solution.
Amazing.
Yeah, I use them in Naples too, where we had some high buildings. The reason why that came about is we used to be able to rappel, and we found that was not the safest thing to do. The way that they did it was pretty dangerous. We switched vendors, and they said, "There's no way we're going to do that." Yeah. And so Daryl had to come up with a solution, and this was the solution. We've actually looked into buying one, to be honest with you, to save money over time. They're pretty pricey. But you never know, we might get our own one day. As the price comes down, and then we'll put Daryl through pilot's training. You know, we'll have a drone committee of residents. What else, folks? Yes, all the way in the back.
Nobody mentioned the bocce ball court.
Yeah,
I played there at 70 degrees on Christmas Day. It's great.
it's a great time for some bocce. Yeah, you know, I think honestly we thought it was going to be a little bit colder through the winter, and so we didn't plan a grand opening because of that. So we planned to do a grand opening maybe towards closer to spring. But if we can't continue on this trend, we might have to change those plans. I don't know. But I'm glad that you played. We hope that you enjoy. I'm looking forward to, I envision a league, maybe building competitions, and of course, we are training to win the Olympics, right?
Yes, we are.
Home court supremacy. We will have the longest bocce court because we went with the regulation size. Okay, so people might come here and complain because ours is the right size, and we can say, well, you can go play on your baby court. We're gonna play on the adult court here. What else, folks? Okay, what do you think? Should we wrap it? Somebody said, please. Okay, thanks for coming out. Look forward to the next meeting. Enjoy your dinner.